sneeze and fart.
Happy Friday, everybody. What's going on?
Hey, man, this feels like a Thursday night show.
It does.
Just the name.
Carla, welcome back.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Happy to be here again.
This isn't SNL. You don't get a jacket if you've been here like 5 times.
Yeah,
so.
I know. We could do that at some point, right?
At some point.
Here's your HRT cocktail or exosome cocktail if you've been on the show.
I think we were talking about the best quote you had in the show. We were going to put on a T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Because one guest had said, what was it? My tattoo artist has really gotten into Tibetan throat singing. And I told her that was the most yoga teacher thing I've ever heard anyone say.
And welcome, Leah. Is it Coghlan? Did I say that right?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to correct you because I actually don't give my last name out on podcasts.
I am so sorry.
I go by Little Leah. You don't have to apologize.
Little
totally
Leah.
fine. It's Coghlan, but any of you that hunt me down, I'll find you first.
I'll find you first. All right. So we will not do that. Yeah, sorry about that. But hey, listen.
We don't even have a button to bleep anything.
We don't.
So, yeah.
That's fine. I'm not that interesting. So.
Okay.
She's very.
Well, yeah. Who knew I needed a button to beep a name? That's not.
Yeah. I mean, we've been joking about an AI button.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah. So where are you at?
I am in Prince George as well. Same place as Carla.
Same place. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
So we're a little mad at Carla for not leading with radical sex witches, because that would have been like, what? So what is that name? How did we get to that? Like, let's just dive in here.
Yeah, because that was an immediately there was a re-invite. It was like, no, you're coming back. Get her and come back.
I think Carla came up with the name and she had the idea for it.
Yeah, so I wanted to start a podcast, and I've been working in the area of sexuality for a long time and women's sexual healing. As I'm sure we'll dive into today, Lee and I also have just kind of had a lifelong love affair with all things witchy.
Love it.
We think that the word radical is a really powerful word. It, invokes change. And so that's where the Radical Sex Witches was born.
That's awesome.
She originally was going to do the show by herself. And Carla was one of my clients. And I was like, no, you need to let me do this. And you need to let me be a part of this with you. And we ended up doing 166 episodes in total. And I loved it. It was great. And it was so much fun. And I think I always joke, I was the evil one and Carla was the good one, but our listeners just really like the dynamic between the both of us.
Sure. And I guess just like actual sex, doing a podcast sexually related by yourself is just less fun.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
The topics were about masturbation. So,
well, I mean, there you go.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we just had another repeat guest on talking about his digital cock ring that measures nocturnal erections for cardiovascular.
He came back to talk about sex robots.
Oh, then he came, sex robots as sex therapy tools, actually. Not the first person randomly to talk about sex robots as therapy tools. I wish I could say there was only one, but we've had a couple. So
hey, we don't have shame.
Yeah. Why? What got you into wanting to be on a show called Radical Sex Witches? Like, what were you doing prior, or what? Or maybe you're still doing now?
I think we were both just running our own businesses. So I am a one-woman creative agency. It's actually how I met Carla, even though we have a lot of friends in common in this city. And so I was doing creatives and whatnot for her. And so that's why I bullied my way into the show.
Matt, they're the female versions of us.
Yeah.
And Carla still does her,
yeah. So why is it past tense? I'm just curious. I had noticed on the site.
You needed to do 500 more to get to 666, and then you can peace out because really upset the patriarchy.
Yeah, we made the decision to end the podcast. It was just really personal reasons. Like at that time, my parents were still alive and were quite unwell and needing a lot of my time. I was traveling a lot, and I think we were just having a little bit of burnout, and something had to go.
Yeah,
So,
I think at that point it ran its course. And I even said to Carla a couple weeks ago, I was like, do you think that the universe just stopped us? Because like we both, 25 was like the worst year for us on the planet. So it was like,
they're the female versions of us, Matt. They're the female versions of us. That
Yeah, so far I think you're summing up like half our shows.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out how bad the cut was. You know, I'm like, what happened? I think I'm mortally wounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything just worked out the way that it was. And I don't know if it's too early to mention this, Carla, but I think we should say it since you're saying that we needed to do 666 episodes. We're planning for February to do a limited series, 4 episodes on perimenopause. And our working title right now is Hot, Tired, Still Dangerous. So
I love
really
that.
looking forward to that. People will probably hear it here first, depending on when this show comes out.
Probably a couple.
It's the first thing I've wanted to do in like over a year, and it's also like a conversation I'm constantly having with women whenever I leave the house, which isn't much, but so I have a lot to say when I actually see people of my age, and it's just like, whoa, is this going on with you or what? So I think it's important and timely.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you're hitting, they used to say in order to be in health, you had to write a weight loss book. And I think now it's like you have to write a hormone replacement book or a perimenopause book or something like, because all these topics are just everywhere now. And I love it because it's like, I don't want to say, I mean, people like kind of come out of the closet to talk about this stuff. Like, it's like, oh, we never said anything about it. People lived in agony for decades, and it's like cool to see people like just openly be like, let's crack this nut and figure out how to fix it.
Well, do you think it's
excuse me.
I think this one of the greatest things about being a Gen Xer, because that's kind of where we're all at, right? Is that like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Like women, rightfully so, are like, hey, you were told just to deal with this. I say this a lot. There was a long time when the number one drug for almost any kind of women's health issue was Wellbutrin. Just fucking numb them up. They're depressed. And then let them go. And they weren't hearing, oh my God, the cramping. Oh my God, the hot flashes and everything that happens, which it was just kind of in a, God, wow. Now I'm like sounding full on radical feminist, but basically it was like you guys are just small males. Just deal with it. And they weren't looking at the hormone panel the way they should have, and they weren't looking at signs and symptoms. It was also like demonized as well. Yeah. Like they were told that like HRT gave people cancer, and it was and it wasn't bioidentical to what we use now. No,
and so
horse piss. It was horse piss.
Yeah,
I'm not even lying, Matt. Premarin means pregnant male urine. Mare urine. Sorry, not male.
Yeah. That would be very strange.
That would be very.
That was not ever.
That's a unicorn right there.
Yeah.
And Primpro is a full synthetic. So I'm very happy to be in a household where my wife can easily get the supplementation she needs to feel better. I mean, that it's been life-changing for her.
Yeah, it's life-changing for so many women. And you're right, because the whole, for so long, it's like, oh, there's something wrong with you. Well, here's an antidepressant. And it's not to say that wasn't useful in certain cases, but it's just a way to kind of shut women up and not validate their experience and really kind of gaslight them in a way. It's like, no, you're just depressed. They're there. Yeah. Here's this pill.
We just had a guy on talking about the HRT on both sides, male and female, and we broke open the black box warning removal and all that stuff. And I was super undereducated in that whole storyline. Like I kind of had snippets of it, but I didn't realize how ludicrous it was.
Well, Women's Health Initiative was really backfired. Really, it was shoddy research and a black box warning on HRT across the board without looking at each medication individually.
Mine still comes with a warning, and I've only been on HRT for this is my 6th month, and they were just like, if you feel any new lumps in your breast, or this could happen, and then shortly a couple months after that, they're releasing findings that it's actually super beneficial for stopping heart and stroke and even certain cancers in women. So the information is changing so quickly.
But as a result, we got, look, like Tom said, we're all, plus or minus in a similar age group. And a lot of our friends' wives, my wife included, are starting to like really peel this back and like look into it deeper. And the lack of education, even on their side, it's like kind of, you know, a lot to take in, because I want to be helpful, obviously, but I obviously, you know, she's coming back and friends are coming back. They're like, God, I get conflicting information from these sources and like it's all over the place. So I think there's a real desire to get somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about to actually talk
and
about.
Unfortunately, it's not always your gynecologist, right? You know, some of them are still not educated well enough on.
And Carla, in your practice, like, are you seeing any kind of trends towards people talking about this more? Is that happening for you?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the conversation is absolutely shifting. And I think that women are starting to realize they have options, and that it doesn't have to be, you know, a decade plus of suffering and kind of feeling like you're losing your mind and not able to function. And so, yeah, that conversation is absolutely changing. But I think there's still a long way to go, you know, to really empower women to know that they can really control, not necessarily control, but they really can have a different outcome, and they don't need to lose themselves in this process, which is a really natural process, of course. But of course, you know, with all of the inputs from our society, like so much stress and toxins and all these things, makes it a whole lot worse. And we really need to support women, you know, to move through to the other side without so much suffering, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of exhausting how many variables go into these things. We just talked to somebody who's talking about, you know, a guy had to get his finger amputated because he was fishing and got a hook. Just gave him a little, and
that is the appropriate response.
Yeah, it was downstream from a chicken farm, and
they were dumping the shit in the water.
And he got a flesh-eating bacteria that had to have his finger amputated because of a fishing hook. Wow. And I was like, who the fuck thought of that might be an option, man? I'd be out there with a chainmail glove. Well, first of all, if I had known that, I wouldn't be fucking fishing in that water, period. But I mean, let's just say I was desperate enough. I'd have fucking chainmail gloves on. There's no way. Like, I mean, it's just, but like, that's the thing. Who can keep up with all these? You know what I mean? Like, it's an overwhelming amount of information, right? And I don't know.
I like having the information. And for me, so I'm 47 and I spend a lot of time on TikTok, and I probably shouldn't, but there were like a lot of light bulb moments came for me, because like there's over 100 symptoms with perimenopause, and there were times that I'm like, am I dying? Like let's just move being crazy out of the equation. But there were like, you know, I'm like, I'm choking to death, I'm having a heart attack. No, bitch, you have a globus sensation, and acid reflux is a thing. And like, I didn't know that until like, even if it was just a random perimenopause video, I'd learn things from comments from that people were leaving, being like, this is what's happening to me. And then I'd go cross-reference that and be like, oh my God, like the globus sensation in like your esophagus, like it's like, you know, softer in perimenopause. It doesn't have all those hormones running there. So it was a lot of light bulb moments, and like that, and like, don't hate me, people, but like ChatGPT was another saving grace for me, because
hate you. That's like
Matt put his MRI, all the individual images of his MRI up.
Yeah.
And it gave a report that was more accurate and more thorough than I would say almost any radiologist.
Well, it helped advocate when I would go see a doctor, and I'm very lucky that I have a fantastic doctor, and he actually pushed me to go on HRT. I was like, I can white knuckle this until the British Columbia government gives it to us.
What is it, 15 years? 15?
No, he was tired of me for going to the emergency room all the time because I thought I was having a heart attack. At the exact same time, not to trauma dump on like everyone's listeners, but my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer in October of 2024, and then perimenopause like hit me. So it was the perfect storm of chaos, and I didn't know what was happening to me. So I was super thankful for my doctor, and he's really old and from South Africa. So I was super surprised that he was like, no, you should really be on HRT, and him helping me make this decision, as well as, you know, TikTok and ChatGPT. Those were probably things like, next to my boyfriend, obviously helped save my life in 2025.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of ChatGPT, honestly, and their new ChatGPT health version. I'm intrigued about. I have not played with it yet. We got off the waiting list reasonably quick, so like, I mean, I plan on playing with it, but I've uploaded my blood tests and all kinds of shit to
Same.
that for a long time. I'm like, dude, I had a shoulder problem, what Tom's talking about. I went and got, MRIs. I uploaded them all. My doctor didn't call me back for 3 weeks. Okay. Like I called, like they weren't around, whatever. I'm like, fuck, what is wrong with this lady? Like, why is she not calling me back? I uploaded all. I had like a 45-minute human conversation with a fucking machine that told me more about shoulder issues than I ever wanted to know, ever needed to know. But I left there feeling really good about, hey, what's the condition of my shoulder right now compared to other 49-year-olds in the world? Oh, actually, you're not doing too bad. Like my doctor finally does call me. She goes, yeah, sorry, we got busy. You fell through the cracks. You're fine. Come in for a cortisone shot. That was the sum total of our conversation.
His diagnosis was old man shoulder.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I was like, are you fucking joking me? This took less than 8 seconds for you to give me a diagnosis, and your fucking answer is to come shoot me up with cortisone. We're not going to talk again. We're done. And makes a compel people who are bitching about AI taking their jobs. If my doctor wasn't such an asshole, I probably would be going back to her. But now I'm like, my first stop is going to be fucking ChatGPT. Good for better or for worse. I don't,
But you can take that information to your doctor and challenge those questions and things that they say. And that's what I mean by advocating for yourself, because
I see, yeah.
I'd learn things and then I'd be like, I'd ask my doctor and he'd be like, oh, well, you might be right about that. Right. Like, so I know a lot of people are very scared that they're like, well, we're not uploading our medical stuff to AI. Who's going to have this? And then like, it literally says like not to replace your doctor. Like, isn't that the tagline of ChatGPT Health? So, I mean, we've already been doing that for how long?
I know, but you have made a grotesque assumption about the human race, that they're smart and filled with common sense.
That's true.
And that neither of those things are real. Like people are like, ChatGPT told me to do it. And now, I'm like, well, what? I don't know. People are, I do AI all day for a living. And so for me, these conversations are kind of double-sided because like on one side, I'm very passionate about it. On the other side, there's certain people that should not go near it because they're just not cognitively capable.
I believe that about most things, right? Yeah, everybody can get a license, but not everybody should be driving.
Yeah. Carla, curious on the holistic side, are things like ChatGPT kind of getting in your way, helping you out? Like, are the people coming to you even down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually don't think I've had conversations with clients about them using ChatGPT, but I know they do. And I mean, I do use it. I do use AI myself, like in many of the ways that, you're all describing, putting in blood tests. But then in the background research that I will do, even just in terms of supporting a client, it's like remarkable, like how much information you can put together and synthesize and like refine. I think you still have to be discerning. You still have to be like, okay, verify this, or something doesn't seem right. Like, don't take everything as like the absolute gospel truth. But I found it really, really helpful. And it also is really helpful sometimes when I'm wanting to reframe something for somebody and just kind of bring in a bunch of different pieces. And then how that's presented to me is also really helpful. I mean, it's pretty remarkable if even just, thinking over the past few years, like how exponentially this is all growing and how it's influencing our lives. It's pretty wild.
I will say that in my clinic, probably about 8 months ago, one of my patients emails me. She said, I uploaded a picture of my face and I asked it from a traditional Chinese medicine standpoint, diagnose me.
No.
And she sent me the report and she goes, you've said this to me before. And it got me so down the rabbit hole. I was like, send it a picture of your tongue and ask the same question. Yeah. And then right now I'm actually waiting to pull the trigger on it. But my web person has made for funsies, right? We have that disclaimer like Chat Medical does at the bottom of the page, but like upload a photo of your tongue and we'll let you know what's going on from a Chinese medicine standpoint. And it's funny. And Matt and I have had this conversation where
I did it the day after Tom told me this story. I was like, hold on a second.
The softer medicines respond very well too, right? The softer sciences, because there's a lot of, well, maybe this, right? It's not a definitive. And when you're holding these variables that can mean 6 or 7 different things, and you're looking at the whole picture. Back when I used to teach in an acupuncture school, my assistant, somebody would come in and go, I have phlegm misting the heart. And I'd look at the assistant and she goes, oh, they must have been talking about that in the last class.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, their symptom was, I can't sleep. And there's 10,000 things that it could be. And phlegm misting the heart is one of the weirdest ones. So it's like, of course you have it. You just learned about it, right? This almost, hypochondriac syndrome. But being able to juggle all of these really subtle signs and symptoms is one of the coolest things, because chat also won't forget. Hey, remember 6 months ago?
Yeah. Yeah, the blood test one is fun for that. I'm sure you're into that. Like you could, a year later, you're like, hey, I think I've gone down in this or up in that or whatever. And it's like, no, you didn't. And I'm like, shit, I forgot all about that. You know? So where do you, what do you do when you're not talking about this? You said you're a designer or a branding
I'm
person,
a one-woman creative agency.
Creative agency. That's
I
right.
do graphic design for print and web, copywriting, web design, social media, marketing, content creation, consultation. I've been doing it I've had my own business since 2017. And now I could never go work for anybody because it would probably mean having to put a bra back on and leave like the house. So
yeah. I've been doing those exact same things since 99. And
Not wearing a bra?
No,
yeah, I was just going to say.
He is checking all of those boxes.
I'm checking all the boxes. Yes, I also don't wear a bra, technically speaking. I mean, maybe not. I can't say I've never, but not generally. You know, but yeah, no. I think it's funny. I asked because I thought you said that, and I'm like, what is it with us creative folks that go down these rabbit holes? I know more designer web people that are down these rabbit holes than any other singular group that's not like into this like Tom is. I mean, he's an acupuncturist. I mean,
well, yeah, we're out there too. I'm normally the weirdest one in the room. I get upset when I'm not.
Yeah.
We really are mirror effects of each other. That's pretty funny. And there's one of each of us.
It really, yeah.
And look how they did us north-south, right? We weren't on the same side either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Well, on mine, I am lined up, right? Like it's like team A, team B. Yeah, no. But you know what it is? The art bag I used to teach at FIT in Pratt in New York City, and it was like art school. And funny, after art school, I have a degree in figure drawing and graphic design. So like, I don't use either one of them. But the joke I always made in school was when I got trained on how to be a college teacher, which wasn't really training, but it was them telling me, they actually kind of came out and said, listen, we don't really care about anything that these guys can do technologically, right? If they draw, code, photograph, they're in an art school, they covered that. What you need to teach them how to do is think. Like that's what they're here for. That's it. And I was like, I fucking love that answer because that's great. People are fucking idiots. And this is a great opportunity to make them think. And the biggest failure or success for those students was how could they like sharpen that skill? And now fast forward to the AI world and where we could look up things like health and all this other stuff. The artsy people are fucking crushing it. Like they are just crushing it because that creative.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
We have to. I think the early adopters of AI are going to be the ones that go and do something with it that might potentially save their jobs, find a way to pivot and know how to use it, because not all art people. So I work in like 4 different pop culture conventions and we have like artist alleys and people like shit their pants. And I even just saw today, I can't remember, one of the big American Comic Cons like just completely banned any use of AI because of like the artists that draw, paint, whatever. Those people hate it and they will like come and slit your throat if they know that you are using like, AI whatsoever. And we've had to deal with that in our shows as well. But I'm not going to be left in the dust. I'm going to figure out how to use these platforms to my advantage and still keep moving forward with my career.
Do you not think that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, though, to like come out and say like you can't use this tool? It's like saying I can't use a hammer to build a house. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, okay, I could go find a rock and do that, but that's wildly inefficient. Like, why would I do that?
I don't know. Well, I'm not a painter or a drawer, and I could understand why generating something that took me hours to do in seconds, and also the fact that they're taking certain samples of people's work to make this, one said piece. I understand why they're getting upset, but I'm a graphic designer. I'm a web builder, I think those areas are very different. And so that's why maybe those people haven't adopted it yet, and I have.
Well, I mean, I can say this because I do the same thing. I think our job goes first. Like, it's the easiest to
Exactly.
automate. Yeah, I mean, it's like, like we could go out. I mean, look, Carla and Tom over here, like, you can kind of ask questions of it, but a lot of that stuff that you guys do is hands-on stuff. Like,
and I would love to have my job taken.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do it more. I'm I was promised the fucking Jetsons, and we're sitting here in the fucking dark ages.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get driven to school in a flying ship, and it's just not happening.
Here I am still driving my Tesla.
Yeah. And I don't fucking trust it to self-drive because Musk is a Nazi.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I think I'm with you. Get a new solution as fast as humanly possible. And I'm actually most excited in health about that, actually, because all of those reasons that I'm trying to get AI'd up to save or change my current career. I didn't start a health podcast because I was just bored. Like, this is like a huge passion of mine.
I did.
Yeah. This was a huge passion, and it's infinitely easier when you could go into ChatGPT and ask it a bunch of crazy questions that some of them I'm not quite sure I'd want to ask my doctor just yet. Like, they're even too crazy for me, Well,
I never thought of the shame or embarrassment part of that. But yeah, I mean, there's certain things you probably should be telling your doctor, and you're like, oh, I don't want to say that. That makes me sound gross.
Yeah.
Basically.
I'll just say those things to Carla.
Yeah. I'll just ask a random stranger, like, "Hey, your pee ever smell like electricity, like ozone?"
Yeah.
They're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Well, all right, I'll just get my coffee and get out of here.
Yeah. Even the nocturnal erection guy, though, like when I tell people like, "Oh, who's the funniest guest here or the best guest you've had recently?" And I was like, wait, this guy talk about this cock ring. He wants Tom and I to have like a contest against each other to see who has the most and strongest nocturnal erections. And I was like, oddly, that sounds actually like something we should do for the show.
I mean, look, man, you don't want to lose that one. We're already sensitive enough about that area. But his t-shirt was the penis is the canary of the coal mine. Of cardiovascular health. Yeah. And
to be clear,
if you're not getting a ton of erections at night, you got to get your heart checked out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually might end up being in a study about testosterone and nocturnal erections.
I'm not allowed to because I was ahead of the curve on the HRT. So sad.
Yeah. It has to be, Leah, it has to be people not on HRT currently. Yeah. So how has that been for you, man? You seem perky. Is that just because you're on the show, or has it helped you? I mean, how is that going?
You can ask both of us. Carla can go first because I think we're both on it.
Yeah.
Oh, Carla, you are as well. Oh, I didn't realize you were also taking it. Oh, so how are you feeling?
Well, one of the biggest things it's really helped me with is sleep, and sleep is it's everything.
Oh, wow. What was wrong with it before? Just not able to?
Well, admittedly, I've had a hard time sleeping even since I was a kid.
Okay.
So it's always been challenging, but I went through a period in my 40s where I literally thought I was going insane because I just was barely sleeping. Like I cannot sleep well for a few nights, and I'm so used to it that I can function, but it was weeks and weeks and weeks on end.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was horrible. And it's not to say that it's perfect now, but I just feel like, when you sleep well, or you have a decent enough sleep, everything in life is easier. And the converse is true, right? So I would say one of the biggest things has definitely been around sleep. And and then also, I do a lot of things for also keeping my mind sharp and brain fog. So I think the HRT has definitely contributed. There's other things that I do, but being able to actually complete a sentence is nice.
Helpful. Yeah, it's the little things, right?
Yeah, and just like carrying those threads through. But yeah, for sure. I mean, for me personally, I want to be on the lowest dose possible.
Mhm.
In addition to all of the really positive lifestyle things I'm doing. But for me, I've definitely found that the addition of HRT has made a difference in my quality of life. And so it's been real positive.
What, just out of curiosity, what drives the dosing requirement on your side? Are you just not wanting to be on the higher end? Is there something else driving that? Because this is like an interesting topic with people about dosing, because there's all kinds of philosophies on this. So I'm kind of collecting.
And I'm still trying to figure it out. So I don't feel like I've kind of reached what's optimal for me.
Got it.
But I guess it's just sort of my personal philosophy is that I don't mind bringing things into my body, but I want to also support my body to do what it can do naturally on its own. And I do think that even though, you know, you aren't producing as a woman hormones in the same way you were before, you still are producing hormones. And so I want to make sure I'm doing everything possible through my lifestyle choices to maximize that. And then the HRT is just like the supplement that just brings everything into a more optimal level. It's just like my personal philosophy.
Sure. Yeah. No. And that makes sense. Despite the fact that I take like fistfuls of supplements every day, I actually, I do try to like keep the ones that I'm taking like logical, if that makes sense. Like not kind of like crazy off the deep end. I'm just like, well, if I don't need 10 of these, I'd rather not. Which is actually the reason I'm not on HRT at the moment, is because I'm like, I'm already taking so many fucking things.
It's only going to be one thing. HRT is only going to be one thing for you, man.
I get it. But and what about you? Like, how are you feeling?
It's been an interesting transition. So the very first 2 months, so I'm on a patch that I change twice a week, and then I have to take a progesterone pill at night. The first 2 months were bliss. And I felt like old Leah again, like, because my biggest thing was like the anxiety and panic attacks, something I didn't experience before perimenopause and my dad getting sick. And they were like so debilitating. Like that was not me. And I went back to like feeling amazing, but we know that our hormones are never in the same place. And so from what I learned around the third month mark, is when, you know, the levels might not be as great. So I started getting massive anxiety again, and, you know, the reflux and the globus sensation. But at that point too, I was like, well, I still want to keep going with what I'm on. And I started learning different techniques to, you know, stop being such a fucking spaz and thinking that literally every body sensation was going to kill me. So I added in my own types of things like somatic exercises. I don't know, like if people are going to watch this, I call this the diddler.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
this is sex witches.
It is. Yeah.
I'm always constantly popping it. Someone randomly gave it to me at a pride parade. And then I was like, holy shit, that was one of the first things that, like, you know, I could put my anxiety into, and pushing it all the time. And then I broke it and I had to go find them on Amazon and go buy more. And now I like hand them out like drugs to people. I'm like, you have anxiety? You should try this. So like I was putting in my own little practices. And only just recently, I would say a week ago, I finally got my estrogen up to 50 milligrams. And so I'm starting to feel things mellow out a little bit, and we'll see. Like both 25 and 50 are pretty low.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and you can go all the way up to 100 and then like more if you talk to your doctor about it. And I also I have worked very hard. My boyfriend will tell you, the poor guy, it's a good thing he lives in California. He can just like shut off the computer when I'm a fucking psycho. But like, he's like, no, you have been working really hard. It isn't just the HRT. And even Carla came over last week because she's a Psych K facilitator. And, you know, like we worked on that together of like me understanding that my body has sensations and I'm okay. And Carla, like we haven't really talked since then, but I do feel calmer as well. And I keep using those mantras together. So thank you very much. She's very good. If you are in Prince George, like go see her.
The other thing awesome. The other thing creatives have in common is we're fucking crazy hypochondriacs.
That's new for me, all in the last year of thinking everything is going to kill me. But I think it was because I was having such extreme panic attacks and I was on the floor, and I went to the emergency room so much that literally that translated into I'm having a heart attack. So I've been working really hard in my brain not to think like that anymore.
I actually have a male friend who's on HRT for the first time, and he's been to the ER 3 times also for almost literally the exact same symptoms.
Because it feels like you're dying. It's horrible.
He said the same thing. I just found this out actually a week ago. So it's like new information to me. And I was like, wow, that sounds awful, man. What are you doing? And his current doctor fix is actually an anti-anxiety med. And I'm like, well, really? Yeah, maybe you want to like look at some other things before you start getting too deep down that rabbit hole. I'm for all the things I don't want to put in my body, pharma is at the top. Like, I'm like, okay, like if we don't need to, I don't vilify it, but if I don't have to, I'm going to avoid that.
I think the same way. And my doctor before HRT was like, well, do you want to go on an antidepressant? And he's really awesome at listening to me. So I was like, no, like I was very concerned about that. But if it were, some people definitely need it. And my logic was like, I haven't always been like this. At 47, this is happening. There's got to be a way that I can retrain my brain to not be a fucking psycho. And
yeah. And sometimes those little tweaks, Carla, I don't know. My wife has struggled with sleep also since she was a kid. And like, if I don't sleep for one night, I'm a fucking disaster the next day. Like, yeah. I am like, I don't know how you do that.
My partner's like that too. And I'm like, play me the world's smallest violin.
Yeah. Totally. I empathize. There's zero sympathy for that. I get it. Rightfully so. But it's like, I literally don't understand. She's like, I went to bed at 4 and we were up at 6. I'm like, and you're standing upright? Like what? I wouldn't even, this would be a non-starter for me. I'd have to call in sick today. She's like, and so, yeah. The other thing though, and I'm throwing my wife under the bus today, I feel bad, but like people don't hear until they're ready to hear. And so it's been hard being on this show with all these topics, being like, hey, look at all these solutions that are out in the world that some I knew about, most I don't. Like I get educated on this show every single time we have someone on. There's like 10 new things, like, I'm like, I love it. But like
in your wife's defense, man, you were on the phone the other night. We were talking about the alignment protocol. And I could visibly picture her going like this about our conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, so you're going to listen to it twice a day. And don't get upset if it gives you diarrhea or an upset stomach. It's only a couple of days.
Yeah.
And she's like, from headphones?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, from headphones.
So Leah, and Carla, I don't know if we talked about this when you were on, but there's a guy who's been on our show twice now, and he's got this thing called the alignment protocol, and you basically talk for 90 seconds. And Leah, you would fucking love this thing. I'm telling you right now. It's
big data.
Big data. Yeah. So they crunched all these numbers from Alexa for years, right? And they basically pulled out all this health data out of just how people talk. So you read the script for 90 seconds and it gives you a jaw-droppingly accurate diagnosis of your body. Like
I don't know if you want that.
Your chakra health.
He read us live on the show, and it was like, I was expecting some kind of like great Randini move where Matt and I have the same results and we're going to be like, that's totally us. But no, he had us both pegged.
Yeah. And then so I'm actually finally got off my ass and I'm doing the protocol. I literally started today, but I went in and told my wife, I was like, look, I got my results. It says you get obsessive compulsive about hobbies and work. And she's like, wow, fucking nailed you, huh? And I'm like, yep. Like, and I was like, yeah, you got to listen to this. And I press play for a second. It's like, and it's like, just not like tones. She's like, looks to Tom's point. She gave me that look.
If it's like, not for you, if it's not yours, it doesn't sound right.
Well, listen, she looked at me. She goes, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Go back to work. You're not ready to talk about this. I can see that this is not the right time.
Full disclosure, I'm on his advisory board now. That's how much I went for it.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's interesting because Carla, when you talk about a lot of stuff you do, a lot of stuff Tom does, like my wife is like the nocebo queen, we call her, right? Like she's like nothing works ever. And I think it's this N of oneness of the world is very fascinating to me, but it's a ton of fucking work to find out what your one is, right? Like it
is,
and that's why I laugh when I see Leah like going talking out shit. I'm like, you're basically me doing the same shit in a different world. I'm like, I hear everything you're saying, everything down to everything. I've had panic attacks since I was in college. I just thought they were normal. I'm like, oh, and everybody doesn't have this. You've never rocked in your dorm room having like hot flashes at 19 thinking you're going to die. That's not normal. Like my wife's like,
and until you have panic attacks and anxiety attacks, like you can only sympathize so much for somebody when they're having them. Like I was always just like, can't you go take a deep breath or something? Or like like, you know, I was just like, this seems dramatic. No, bitch, it is fucking dramatic.
Yeah, it is
on
dramatic.
The floor.
Yeah.
This feels like the end. I remember being in the ER because, like, I have one great thing about perimenopause is your histamine levels for some people, and I was getting random like allergic, non-allergic reactions. And I remember telling the orderlies in the ER that I was like, "This is it. I'm going." Like I was fucking dying right there. They had to put one of those like breathing pegs on me. And now that I know what this is like, and I apologize for anyone in the past that I was just, not that I ever said your anxiety is nothing, but in my brain, like, I'm sorry that I didn't give it more empathy than it deserved. So.
Right. Yeah. I always smoked a lot of weed when I was in college. So when I first started these, I just kind of chalked it up to, you just got too high, you know, like, and then when I stopped smoking weed and it was still happening, I'm like, okay, maybe this wasn't related. But so when the limited edition reboot of your thing, why limited edition? Why put yourselves in a box? But B, like, are you excited about this? It sounds very exciting.
I feel so privileged to announce that on our show, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm psyched.
There'll be twos of listeners tuning in from us.
Well, we were twos of listeners. We welcome them.
Yeah.
Actually, like I was thinking about it for a little while, and I watched the episode of the three of you together when Carla came onto your show, and I was like, wouldn't it be great if we could like announce this then? Because shortly after you had already booked us to come on today to come record, and I just kept thinking about it, and then Carla came over for a little Christmas visit, and I was like, I think we should do this, and she didn't even hesitate.
Yeah. I mean, when I looked up your show, you guys had something about like unusual sex toys or something. And I'm like, I think that was like one of the last ones. And I was like, you go from like unusual sex toys to done? Like, what the fuck?
You really got to go. Did you go look at the other titles? Because like some of our best episodes were like earlier on, like the C word. We did a whole episode dedicated.
Oh, that's my favorite word, man.
Yeah.
My favorite word.
Carla, do you want to tell them the earliest findings of the word that you tracked down? It's the best.
Yeah, this is one of Leah's favorites. So I think, am I allowed to actually say the word?
You can say anything you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We're not allowed to say it probably as much as you are.
It's one of my
wife
ones.
wants to get it tattooed under her boob, which is probably too much. And she doesn't listen to the show. So that's, well, no. I mean, like if she listens to this show, she might, but I don't. So this is an amusement for me. Go ahead.
There's a recorded, there's some kind of a recorded instance that the very first usage of the word cunt is from Grope Cunt Lane.
Okay.
Because they would name their streets like where you could find things.
So was it where the prostitutes were hanging out or like what? Yeah.
Probably.
That's awesome. So wait, they named the street. Yeah. That's awesome.
Like,
no, I love it.
You know, when I was going back and forth to New York, there's like a Blue Balls Road.
Okay.
Like in northern Maryland, and like I always giggle, but like Grope Cunt Lane is so. I
mean, you're just laying it all
kind
out
of sounds presidential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
I mean, it sounds more couth than get your pussy here street, I guess. I mean, that feels like, I mean, I don't know. That's so wait.
Peddling ass lane.
Yeah, licking ass lane. Yeah. Where was that, by the way, Carla?
Somewhere in England.
Yeah, it has to be England.
Somewhere in England. There is one episode I do have to reference, which is probably,
I know what she's gonna say.
Yeah, it's called Ye Old Sex Slang.
Okay,
and it's I love so. That. It's if I say
I listened to the clip this morning on our Instagram, but I know where she's going.
Yeah, so there's a fellow, I don't remember his name, but he basically his life's work was putting together sex slang through the ages. And there are just, some of them they're beyond, you can't even make this stuff up. It's so good. Invaders of the Back Settlements is one particular
that
favorite.
is fucking hilarious.
Those episodes were so fun. Like, I would be crying real tears, not being able to take in breath sometimes, because
yeah, I love that some dude has that much fucking time on their hands that they're like, you know what I'm going to do? Here's my life calling. I'm going to write a book on sex slang.
And look, you know, if AI eventually takes my job, I'll have times for those kind of endeavors.
Yeah, exactly. That is fucking awesome. What was that? Back, rear, what? What did you just say?
Invaders of the Back Settlements.
Oh my God, that could be your t-shirt for this show, Carla. Invaders of the Back. That's just fucking hilarious. Oh my God.
I think I've seen Invaders of the Back Settlements 4, but I missed the first 3. Not really sure what was going on.
Man.
Yeah. Those were really great episodes. And I remember something about there was old-timey like sex toys as well, and like using breadsticks. Like, I remember making the image and for like our Instagram, and it was just a long baguette, and I was like, yes, it's bread, or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's...
Or having your corn ground was another one as well.
That's how you get a yeast infection. I just want you to know that's how you get a yeast infection.
Oh man. So I did pull it up, the yoni egg. That must have been fun too. Yeah.
Oh God, I got a story I can't tell on the air.
Yeah.
It violates HIPAA. Oh yeah, it violates HIPAA. Yeah. I'll tell you when we get off. It's funny. It's hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah, so these were great. We should definitely encourage you to resurrect any endeavor that talks about this shit. Like, let me tell you.
Well, we did so go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Carla.
Okay, we did. So history has always been one of my passions. So we did have a lot of shows that, you know, went back in time, because there's just so many gems. Like, people were funny, like, and they had crazy ideas, and there's just so many amazing things that we can cover our history. So there's a lot of stuff, historical things, and maybe, who knows, we might do. I'm no promises, but you know, this limited edition's about perimenopause. A little bit more on the serious side, but we might bring back something funny at some point, because they were really great to create and people loved them.
And let's be real, I'm not going to be a total buzzkill the whole series. That would just I'd be untrue to myself. So I'm the source of my greatest like material if I can't make fun of myself, you know.
I mean, you got a deep dive on pubes here. I mean, listen,
I'm sorry, I'm just finding out about this now.
Like,
this sounds right up my alley.
Apparently what I didn't do, ladies, is scroll down too far. Apparently I missed all of the other stuff. Now you got to go deep for pubes, but I mean, listen, here it is. You know,
and they're really bite-sized episodes too, that like, you know, you can go do your dishes, and you know, it's maybe like half an hour to 45 minutes. Maybe when we had like interview guests on, they were a bit longer, but something that Carla and I have been talking about is like the limited series are probably going to be longer.
Right.
Makes sense.
Right. But you know, you ever watch that show Adam Ruins Everything? Have you ever heard of this?
I enjoyed that show, because he even had an episode called Adam Ruins Adam.
Yeah, that's so
and he talked about his own personal biases, which was kind of funny.
So this guy basically takes things like, I don't know, lunch meat or just random shit that we all have every day, right? And then he goes through the historical like sort of ramp up on that thing and how you got here. And it's so fucking good, but it's all history. Like almost all of it is like historical facts stitched together. When you guys, Carla, when you were saying you love history, I'm like, oh my God, that's like such a fun way to tie in something, especially something like sexuality, which is something that until recently, not a lot of people were chatting about. You know?
That was her bringing all of that in. And then later episodes, we did the bad babes of history. And Carla, do you remember who the first bad babe we did was?
No, remind me.
It was Miss Honeysuckle Divine. And this was an adult performer that like, I don't know, was it the 60s or the 50s? And she would like smoke a cigarette out of her pussy. And like,
that's hilarious.
She did all these crazy things.
Yeah, I thought by the name she was an accountant, but I figured.
Yeah. Matt and I did our first episode on orgasmic meditation. It was not nearly.
No. Yeah. Although,
as pushing the envelope as I could have gone, or we should have gone.
Although, Carla, you might well, both of you, but Carla, you from the historical lens, like you can't imagine how ridiculous this was. Like there was actual prescription to rub the clitoris in a counterclockwise motion for an exact amount of time and this and that. It sounded up fucking absurd. And I'm like, how did this make Vogue?
Be careful about the word prescription. It was just some people that were like, hey, you don't know this person, put on a glove and rub her clit.
Yeah, that's essentially what it came down to.
Like, what could go wrong?
What could possibly happen?
What could go wrong?
I do know a fair amount about that too, though. But
what?
I know a fair amount about the whole orgasmic meditation, the OM stuff.
Yeah. Well, what's your take on that then? I'm curious.
Okay, so I have done the practice. The practice is actually pretty amazing. So you just, like doing it so many times in a circle at a certain amount of time and all of that can actually be really incredible and very healing in the right circumstance. I think that whenever there is intimacy and sex involved, and there's always the risk that things can go sideways. And it also sounds like the organization, there were some pretty
100% the organization was pretty
organization. But I
didn't know you knew about it. I would have asked you about this on the last time you were on. This is fucking I had no idea.
The practice itself, I think, is actually a really, it's a beautiful and very deeply healing practice, but all the other stuff kind of murkies the water a little bit.
So then, okay, listen, and now I got to ask, like, how does this work right? Because Tom and I's experience, decoding
it's probably not a stranger that randomly was paired up with you that does it. I'd probably start there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great exercise for couples to do.
Sure.
Or if you've got somebody that you feel really comfortable and you trust. And I mean, it's super. I mean, I would say that it is an incredibly intimate practice, like even more so than having sex. So, there's a lot of vulnerability in that practice. Yeah.
Which is, I think, why we chose it, to make fun of the absurdity of it, because the way, we're reading FBI files and all the shit that happened after the fact,
trafficking.
Trafficking. I mean, it got real fucking dark, man. Like, and we were like, this is a great spot to start, because a lot of people who think of like the stuff we talk about on the show, they make fun of it because of stories like this. Like, this is like the reason.
Well, it always seems like. I don't know the intention of this organization when it set out, but once money started flowing, it became very sketchy, right? There were things that were done that were not in anybody's best interest. And unfortunately, the people that are looking for healing are normally the ones that need it the most. And they're normally the ones that end up walking into something that is not serving them. I feel like that's a downer.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure there were lots of people who had really great experiences even doing that with a stranger, because that could actually be really incredibly healing. But there's so many things that can go wrong with that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the only time we got anywhere close to like, jumping down that. The rest of them have been like, oh, you died? Tell us about that. Like it's been like, like totally different ride. But that first one, I mean, I'm going to like go back and listen to, like, I got to go back to the beginning and leave it. I got a 3-hour car ride ahead of me. I'm going to pop off a couple of these episodes. Now I'm curious. Sex trends of 2022. Let's see how the world
Are you taking the kids?
Yeah. No, I got to drive by my kids. Yeah. Listen, I could listen to anything I want in the car because my kids are in AirPod fucking canceling, like, oh my God.
When they take an ear out and they'll be like, what?
Oh, yeah. Any of you have this experience? They walk around the house with one of them in and you're like, take that fucking thing out of your ear. And they're like, no, I've only got one in. I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, no,
totally.
My kids, 2 girls, they'll go in the bathroom, taking a shit, talking to somebody on speakerphone. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. I am a gross human being and I would never do that.
Yeah, same.
Have some fucking shame.
I'll go pee on the phone with a bestie or my mom or something.
I draw the
line at taking a shit for sure.
Yeah, you're like, I can't.
They're like, hang on a second.
It is funny though, like, because even doing what we do for a living, and like you guys and like as open as we are, I still don't necessarily lead with these conversations. My son's friends, though, they're all like graduating high school. they'll walk in, they're like, oh my God, I'm bleeding like a stuck pig this month. Like, I mean, it's like just completely fucking open. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? I'm not even sure I could hear this conversation. Like that. It just feels very out of place. But it's awesome that they're so open, but it's just very second language to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels, my parents would have murdered me if I would have said that when I was a kid. You know, like, or had that conversation. Oh, my girlfriend's like bleeding all over the place. You have a tampon? My mom would be like, what the fuck are you saying right now? Like, no, like, oh, stop talking right now. Yeah. But anyway, so listen, guys, I can talk about this all day. Where do we want to send anybody for you guys?
Yeah.
Like, Leah, do we want to send people places? Like, are you looking to, I mean, other than that, let's talk about the show. Where do we find any of you?
Aren't we on every podcast platform, Carla? You'd know better than me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think that most of the episodes, you know, maybe not like Sex Trends of 2022. Most of the episodes they're really timeless. Hilarious. They're really timeless and they're super fun. And, you know, I get an email, maybe it's, I guess it's weekly, of how many people, you know, listen to your podcast. I'm sure you guys get that too.
Yeah.
And I'm always amazed how many people are still listening.
Yeah, it's been over a year. How long? I don't even know. It's been well over a year now that we haven't done the show. So it's always so surprising. Like, how are they listening to us? Are they randomly finding us? Like, I need answers to these questions that I have.
The algorithm is strong.
If you want to follow us, we're on Instagram at the Radical Sex Witches. You can just see all the ridiculous stuff that I created and put on there for us. I was refreshing this morning. I was like, oh, I should see what we did in the past. It's been a while.
I mean, you got an episode on weed and sex. I just found that sounds like it says, I'm curious. I need to know, like, does it affect your sexuality? It says, you said maybe yes.
We talked about your pussy getting the munchies.
Oh, that's
awesome.
One of the best selling things in Maryland is a clitoral cannabis tincture. Yeah. It's sells like crazy apparently.
Well, even the golden strawberry strain, the one cultivator goes like, this has the perfect blend of terpenes to put you in the mood. And like, I bought it. I told my wife, and she, like, I don't know if it was the power of suggestion or what, but she was like, okay, we got to keep that stuff around.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, no, weed and sex. That actually might be the kickoff episode, ladies. I'll tell you what.
Weed and sex.
I don't know. That sex slang one sounds also pretty fun, but they're short. I'll have to get into a couple of them.
There's some pretty fun ones in there for sure. And I always had the best time cry laughing with Carla. And then also too, it was always amazing. Like, when people be like, hey, you're that radical sex witch, to find out people actually listen to us. Cause it was like, you know, it never got old. And I was like, thank you so much for listening. Like, yeah,
what a badge of honor.
We had big plans to like do like an evening event or something in person with people. And maybe that's something that we can do down the road. I'd still really love to do that and meet our listeners face to face. That would be really great.
We would love to invite you down here, but
a little far.
Sorry, I'm not crossing the border. My boyfriend's in California. He has to come visit me.
We also don't want to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. But we did do a little meetup with guests and it was a lot of fun. So I definitely encourage, we've only done one and we're going to do another one soon, but yeah, I definitely encourage that. But the night shows, Tom and I have a Thursday night slot that, Carla, you might have been on that one, right?
This feels like a Thursday night show.
This feels more like a Thursday night show because and it's funny, like the universe kind of gives us the right people at the right slot, you know, like it's kind of an interesting thing. But the night vibe is definitely different because you start talking about like weed and sex at like 9 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden people are like, let me tell you something. And I'm like, great, like let's have that conversation. So. Well, Leah, it was great meeting you, man. Thank you, Carla, for bringing on.
Thank you for agreeing to do it too, and congratulations on the. Do you call it a reboot?
The reboot-ish,
the limited series. I just
limited time.
I love limited
event.
Series television, and you're always sad when it's over, and then you're looking for something else to watch. So you know, it's just a good re-entry to what's going on in both of our lives right now.
I agree. And to answer your question about why people are finding you, I think this algorithmic thing, one of the bright sides of it is when somebody gets done with something and they're like looking for something, like that algorithm kind of brings it right. You know, the internet is really kind of timeless in that regard, you know, so people are like, oh, cool, here's a thing that I can check out. And then they're off to the next thing, right? All right. Well, listen, have a great weekend, all. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Fun talking.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.